Okay, in this example, we're going to be simplifying the expression 5 divided by x plus 3 divided by the difference of x and 1. As we're doing this, we're going to be assuming non-zero denominators, which means we don't have to worry about the restrictions. But the first thing we need to do is find a common denominator. Our denominators are already factored, so our common denominator needs to consist of each factor we see to the highest power we see it. And the two factors we see are x and x minus 1. X minus 1 is its own factor. Factors are separated by multiplication. And x minus 1, there's no way to rewrite it as a multiplication. So it's its own unique factor, which we cannot turn x into x minus 1 through multiplication. So we need both the x and x minus 1 for the common denominator. After we have our common denominator, we need to go through and balance it out. So our common denominator is x and x minus 1, which I'll add to the bottom of both my fractions. And my original tops are 5 and 3. The change for the first fraction is that we have the factor x minus 1 now on the bottom, which it wasn't there originally, so we need to add it to the top as well to balance it out. In the second fraction, the new factor is just the x. In the next step, I'm going to take the time to rewrite it as a single fraction before I actually start to simplify. So we'll have 5 times x minus 1 plus 3 times x over my common denominator. And now we'll go ahead and start simplifying the numerator of the fraction. I'll distribute the 5 through. Give me 5x minus 5 plus 3x over my common denominator. Combine like terms, which is 8x minus 5 over x times x minus 1. And the last thing we need to check after simplifying the top is to see if I can factor and simplify the fraction as a whole. I cannot factor the numerator, so this would just be an acceptable final answer. If it's something that's multiple choice, you may also see the bottom of the fraction distributed. However, most cases, this will be accepted as is. Okay, in this example, we're going to be simplifying the expression x over x minus 2 minus 8 over x squared minus 4. Now, we're going to have to find the common denominator first to do this. As a reminder, though, before we start, remember that we are assuming non-zero denominators, which means we don't have to worry about the restrictions as we go through. But anyways, for the common denominator, it helps to factor our denominators. So x minus 2 is actually already factored. However, x squared minus 4, both terms are perfect squares, so this falls into the a squared minus b squared, or difference of squares pattern, meaning our factors are x plus 2 and x minus 2. Now our common denominator needs to consist of each factor we see to the highest power we see it in a single fraction. And I see two factors, x plus 2 and x minus 2, neither of which occur more than once in a single fraction. So we have our common denominator. Now we're ready to start using it. So I'm going to write it underneath both fractions. Then I'm going to have to go and balance it out. Originally we have x and 8 on top. The first fraction we had x minus 2, but now we have x plus 2, x minus 2. So the new piece is the x plus 2, which we'll have to multiply the top by x plus 2 as well to balance things out. The second fraction, which was originally x squared minus 4 in the bottom, but its factored form was x plus 2, x minus 2. Now our common denominator has x plus 2, x minus 2 in it. There was no change in the denominator of the second fraction, so we don't need to change the top. Our common denominator has been balanced out. Now, before I start simplifying, I'm going to write it as one fraction. So we're going to have x times x plus 2 minus 8. And on the bottom, we have our common denominator of x plus 2 and x minus 2. I'll simplify the top. So distributing it out, we'll have x squared plus 2x minus 8 over my common denominator of x plus 2 and x minus 2. There's no like terms to combine, so we should check for the last and final step. Can I factor? So am I able to factor and cancel the top here? Let's see, there's no common monomials on top. However, I can multiply first and last since there's 3 terms. Give me negative 8x squared. Combination of factors that can add up to be my positive 2 would be negative 2 and positive 4. Also multiply to be the 8. Since there is no leading coefficient, I can use the shortcut and kind of skip over the intermediate steps if we're doing factoring by grouping. And give me the factors x minus 2 and x plus 4. My common denominator is x plus 2 and x minus 2. So now that I've looked at the factors, I just have to check, can I cancel? Well, yes, there's a factor of x minus 2 on top and also on the bottom. They can be canceled out, leaving me with x plus 4 over x plus 2. And that's the final answer.